Motor City Machine Guns, obviously recently arrived on SmackDown, having a huge run there of the tag titles. I mean, it still seems quite surreal to me to see those guys in a WWE
Yeah,
ring. You
yeah,
never
it
know.
was really
You never
cool.
know. Yeah.
When I saw them debut, it was just a big, congratulations to those guys because I worked with them for so long. And, even when I went back to TNA for a little bit, me and Chris Sabin tagged for a little bit in TNA. So it's just a big thing. And my whole thing is I'm not really looking for titles and all this stuff, whatever. I really kind of just want to go back and help a lot of the younger guys, like really learn how to wrestle on TV. Like a lot of these guys still don't know how to wrestle on TV and stuff. And I'll always tell people when I do seminars and stuff, I'm like, it's okay to still sell. like that's what makes you a huge star. I'm like, look at Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy does like 5 moves and then he gets the crap kicked out of him the entire match. But like everybody knows who Jeff Hardy is because that's made him like he's not afraid to sell. And a lot of people I think get, oh, I can't sell, blah, blah. Because I see people taking Canadian destroyers from the top rope and getting back up. I'm like, they'd have had to carry me out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have got up.
I saw.
And it's just people just making sense of matches. And a lot of these seminars I do too, a lot of guys still don't even know how to lock up properly. Like they don't even know to put the hand behind the neck and why you cup your hand behind their neck. A lot of guys still don't understand that. They're just taught, lock up and go right into another move. So
It's that psychology, isn't it? I saw an indie spot recently of one guy was on top of another guy's shoulders, like Doomsday Device style, and then a guy jumped off and hit a Canadian destroyer from that height. And I mean, ridiculous, but also no doubt probably ended in a 2 count as well. It's just like
could you imagine this match? Like if you were wrestling the Road Warriors and they had you up and you're in the back, you're like, hey, will you give me that finishing move you do? I'm going to jump back up. What do you think would have happened? That would have been, no, you're not.
You'd have never made it out of the locker room, would you?
Right. And a lot of these guys need to learn, like, and that's when, when I went down there, Hunter was asking me, he's like, hey, do you still use the super kick for the finisher? And that's what I used in my second match or whatever. And I was like, yeah. He goes, well, a lot of people, they use the super kick here or whatever. I was like, hey, that's fine. They knock people down. I knock people out with mine, and he goes, all right, you can use it. And that's what I always tell people is like, I've always protected it where I only throw it at the end, like when I'm going to beat somebody, a lot of people, they just throw it just to go into another spot or something. You never saw Jake Roberts, doing the DDT like 15 times in his match because he protected it. When you saw that, you knew that was it,
Yeah, I was going to say there's a former guest of the show, RJ Singh, he's a veteran over here, has been wrestling for about 20 years in the UK. He has brought back the DDT as his finish. So 2 years ago, he said, I'm going to become the DDT king. And he makes the point that no one else on the show uses a DDT. It's not a transitional spot. It's his finish. If he hits it, it's a 3 count. And I think the same for the super kick. You can bring these moves back. It's you just have to protect them rigidly, don't you? And there's not enough of that anymore. And we need it because I think, we all grew up in the era of, less is more, I think, when it comes to wrestling.
Yeah.
And it just becomes.
And I'm not saying you can't do it. I mean, the Young Bucks made a living off of, being the super kick, doing the super kick party and stuff like that. And that's fine with them. But I always tell people, like, if you watch how they do it, they'll hit it and they'll go into another big move to put somebody down. They don't just hit it and then shoot somebody off, like they do it at a certain time and people think they just do it just to do it. It's like, no, there's a method behind their madness as well.
Yeah.